a couple of stories out there, Yahoo Sports. They brought up the discussion, and we're getting down to that season. You know that I want to lock in and guarantee the number one overall pick. But, for the Detroit Lions, people are discussing it. They're saying the quarterback's not going to be the play. And there's a list of, people that the Lions would go off of. And I'm not even talking about people per se. And I always go to Joique because he's a resident expert. He had the lion on the side of his head before playing for the organization. When you look at this team, Joique, let's leave the player stuff out of it. We got plenty of time to break down Thibodeau, Hutchinson versus Hutchinson, all that kind of stuff. Just from like a positional perspective, what position group needs the most help on this Lions? Other than the quarterback, we know the quarterback.
No, it's not even on the offensive side right now. We need a quarterback because that's the most important piece, but we know we're going to get that later. Linebacker.
And that's been a need for a long time, man.
Yeah. But they're doing it the way that they're supposed to do it. Because we could have got linebackers early last year, but we know that in order to have good linebackers, you're going to have a good defensive line to help out those linebackers. And so we're doing a good job with going out and getting the D linemen we need to take some of the pressure off of the linebackers for having to shed through some of the old linemen on different pulls and different things like that when they have to blitz in. So, and that's why our linebackers were so good when we had, Nick Fairley, Sue, C.J. Mosley, Levy, Tulloch, Stephen Tulloch, DeAndre Levy, Terry Whitehead. You guys were able to play at an elite level because you had such great defensive linemen who were taking on double teams where they couldn't just, work their way up to the linebackers, And we have, D linemen like that cause like what we call blue players, where you have to put extra attention because these guys are playmakers. It makes it so much easier for your linebackers to either hit their blitz, fill their gaps, or even drop back in coverage, And so I think even one year you had Levy, who was I think he was one of the top leading linebackers in the league with interceptions one year. And, but that goes around the board. So the way that they're building this team is from the trenches out. You got to start from within.
So you're of the opinion then the defensive line is the key to have good linebackers?
It plays a big part. To some degree, right? To some degree. Just like a good running back needs good own linemen to be a good running back. You look at, Ezekiel Elliott, when he's running behind that great offensive line at the Cowboys, is going to make him look a little bit better. They had the running back there before who, when he left the Cowboys and went to different teams, he wasn't the same running back. Now, was it that he wasn't the same running back, or was it because he didn't have that O-line, and that O-line made him look that much better? And so that's what an offensive line could do for a running back, the same thing a defensive line could do for a linebacker. Similar thing.
Yeah, and some of the names that are out there, the Christian Harrises of the world from Alabama, there's been a lot of hype surrounding him. I know there's, Nakobe Dean from Georgia. They're going to be getting, both those guys are going to be getting a lot of television time. So I think that locally you'll see, and that's the way we work, right? Like the Aiden Hutchinson stuff, we see them a lot, so naturally you gravitate towards them because you've seen them and you know them. Devin Lloyd from Utah is a guy that a lot of people and a couple of you in the YouTube chat thread have discussed as well. And, for me, D-Mac, I think at the heart, Joique is right. And I think we saw that with Sewell, with the draft of Sewell, where, it's interior. And you go back-to-back defensive linemen, too, when you took Aleem McNeil and you were going that direction. We have seen that they are aware of that building of the interior. But, man, damn, we need a linebacker on this team.
We need a linebacker.
Damn, man.
It's more apparent, right? And now the bottom line is you look back and say, okay, we got these guys playing. We got these defensive guys playing. What do we need now? Which has made it, it's more apparent how much we need a linebacker. So I would think, obviously, with that second pick, right, wherever it's going to land, hopefully L.A. stinks coming down in his top 20 pick, but it's probably going to end up probably 25 to 27, somewhere in there. That's prime linebacker spot to get somebody who's going to fit the system. Here's the beauty, Neil. you know what you have with the McNeils, the Ozariques, the guys that are out there that are battling right now, guys that are on the line, right? Because they got to build it like units. We were talking about how the offensive, defensive line of the season had to be the strength or what they were building on. Well, this is sort of part of it. So you're going to add on offense, like Joique said, the running back. Well, the linebacker, it's this time is where you add it. I don't think, because if you're going to say to me, right, oh, we should have drafted Micah Parsons instead of Penei Sewell. Well, no, because you said you're going to solidify the line first. You can't be talking about convertible cars when we're talking about buying.
Hey, we got to go grocery shopping, man. We got to get the minivan.
We got to get the minivan before the right. It's just so now we're ready to look and say, okay, what kind of convertible were you talking about? All right, let's take a look. And I think that'll be the linebacker, because the quarterback is the piece, but it's not there. So I'm thinking that is, can you find that one piece? And it'll be interesting, more so getting towards the draft. Is that first guy Thibodeau? Is it the Hutchinson? Is it something like there? Because what do we know? It's how the draft plays out and where these guys. And is it the linebacker we're talking about, the second round guy? Right, the third round guy, the fourth round guy, the fifth round guy. Is it the Derek Barnes guy? Is Barnes the guy that we're looking to get more time because he's here now?
And he's cheap.
And he's cheap. Cheap.
I mean, those things all come into play.
Economics with the guy who never grew up in a locker room. Economics, cheap.
No, exactly. But it's interesting, like when you start to, because I think that's where we have to look at it, Joy, because where you have to identify the target, right? And granted, with this roster, BPA is always your friend. Best player available is always your friend. And if there is a bargain to be had somewhere.
I like that acronym. I like that.
BPA, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, Shay.
You're not in a position where
down with BPA.
You can be choosy. You know what I'm saying? When Eddie Murphy talked about it in his famous Delirious stand-up. If you're starving and someone throws you a cracker, it's going to be the greatest cracker you ever had in the history of your life. You know what I'm saying? So, if you're in a spot where you can get a linebacker, yeah, get it. But at the same time, whatever you can get, man.
As of right now, today, we have the first-round draft pick, so we can get a linebacker. Now, my question to you is, if you think Thibodeau, you think Hutchinson, are both going in the first five, in the first five, first three.
Which seems to be the consensus.
All right. Who do you take? You take Hutchinson or do you take Thibodeau?
I leave that up to the scouting department because
I'm asking you.
Yeah, for me, and here's just my thoughts alone, just a guy sitting here with a microphone. My only concern with Hutchinson is how much did he benefit from Ojabo? And conversely, because I'm a guy that said I liked Ojabo with, the 19th pick or the 23rd pick, whatever it was, how much did Ojabo benefit from Hutchinson? And for Thibodeau, for me, it seems like there might be a higher ceiling in terms of the NFL game. The speed off the edge, those types of things, the 1v1 matchups we've seen Hutchinson bull rush an Ohio State offensive lineman. We saw that. And that's great. It might be one of those. It might be similar to the NBA draft this year, where I don't know that there's a wrong answer. Where, Evan Mobley, it does look like he's that unicorn big man. I know he's hurt right now, but he does look like he has that skill set and that performance. So, for me, I don't know that there is a wrong answer. The higher possible ceiling of Thibodeau with that athleticism, that intrigues me more. But I'm always a convertible guy, D-Mac. I'm always the Ferrari guy. The Bentleys are cool, but that's just
it's not your style.
That's not my style, man. Like, I want the Ferrari.